So we're in the shop now, which is still a disaster. It's not a very large shop and there's a lot of projects on the go right now, so it fills up pretty fast. So basically the best way to clean this shop is to get stuff done. The plan that I have, I'm gonna take this resonator out and put this muffler that I've got, and then we'll work on some sort of exit system here instead of the OEM mufflers. I don't care about the sound of the exhaust at all. The whole reason why I'm doing this is for the tire carrier setup. I need, the factory mufflers are in the way in order for me to mount that tire carrier, so I need to find a workaround, and so this is the goal that I have. This muffler was on my Volvo at one point, so there's still the exhaust tip, which has to come off, and this pipe piece will have to come off because it's the same diameter as this. Then we're gonna cut here. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a bit further back, see if this pipe sleeves in rather than just weld here, because I could use that extra length to help line this up. And then we'll cut here as well, and we'll, if we have the time, we're gonna get to bending this pipe. Oh, we got some fiberglass. Okay. Well, that's about as much as I can do today. I'm gonna work on the exhaust today. We're gonna take the headers off, and we're gonna start welding the new flange on. It came in the mail. All right, we got the headers off. Now, I'm not a mechanic. I'm handy, but I'm not a mechanic. But one thing I know for sure is whenever you take the headers off a car, you need to start it just to make sure you didn't miss anything. Cleaned up as much as it needs to be. I'm gonna do this piece up first. So this is gonna give us that extra length we need, and it's also gonna step up the thickness by like 1/8 of an inch, and that'll help to fit inside the muffler. I was pointing at something you can't see on the screen, but that'll make it a tight fit onto the muffler, and it'll give us an extra like inch. But you know, I can tell you what an extra inch can get. Quick show and tell. That was my best one. Those are my worst ones. That one's decent. So now I just gotta make a couple passes, connect them all together. I'm thinking I should slow my wire speed down just a little bit. I'm gonna do that. I'm on low heat right now, which I think is the right heat I want to be on because it's not very thick. So I'm gonna slow my wire speed a bit, and I'll start filling those. Wow, I'm pretty bad. We'll just share with the class. That's decent. The rest of it's pretty sad. That one looks nice, but I don't know how well connected it is. And then that's just spatter. So I've got about half of it left if I can do it good. It's not a super important part, but I do want it to be relatively airtight. Terrible for sure, but it'll hold. It's not structural. You know, it's just exhaust. I wouldn't trust this if it was holding together like a subframe or something, but this will be good enough for what my application for it. ow, ow, ow. So like that's a really nice looking weld, but it's not really connecting it to the muffler. And then there, like, okay, it's connected, but that's just because there's just so much I kept putting into it there. And then this, I basically skipped it there. That looks terrible. Another spot I skipped it. Here it's like terrible, but at least it's connected. Skipped it. We're back to where we started. So I'm definitely not good. Okay, forgot to film it, but there, this piece is on, so I had to hammer it in, barely fit, and then I had to twist it so that it was in line. That way when it's on the car, it's just easy to get to these bolts. So we just have to basically, same as before, 1, 2, 3, 4 tacks, and then try to fill the gaps in. Even though it's not looking any better, I feel more confident with each pass. So hopefully this one will be nice. It should at least be the best of today because it's the last I'm doing today. Oh, I want to show that off. That's the best pass of my life. Haven't even cleaned it yet, but look how gorgeous that one is. It's like a 1/4 inch of a bead. Isn't that just beautiful? Anyways, before I get too cocky, I'm gonna finish this up. Then we'll see if it's any good. Look at that. That's like the size of a caterpillar. We'll clean it all up. I gotta let the camera charge for a bit, so I'm gonna wire brush the whole thing, and then I'll turn the camera back on to show you what it looks like. So there's some pretty good ones. I'm quite happy with this. There's some, like, I'm not gonna lie, there's some that I didn't do so well on. There's a spot where I completely missed. I don't know if the camera's getting that in the light, but I completely forgot to kind of lay a bead in that spot. But there's a couple of pretty nice passes. All I've done is wire wheel this. That one's my favorite though, the caterpillar. I'm quite happy with that. I think I should just practice more before I start the actual project. I should use the project to practice. But when it comes to welding the more important stuff, like the tire carrier and the roof rack that's coming up, I'll put a little more time and more work into that. But for just exhaust, it's a good chance for me to practice. I've learned a thing or two. I think I got better at dialing in the wire speed. Either way, I'm happy with that. That's all I got for today. We're gonna finish the rest of it later. Here's just an overlay of the original exhaust setup. So you got your dual mufflers, you got the resonator, and then you got your pipe shenanigans. So we've replaced this resonator with a muffler, and now we've got a second pipe which doesn't have mufflers on it. So we're gonna get that pipe into place and we're gonna start bending it to get it to line up with the muffler. Once that's done, we'll weld that up and then we'll start it and we'll see how it sounds. And if it sounds terrible, then we'll come up with some other mufflers here, maybe put those ones on. But really what I want to do is I want to minimize this space. I want to be able to use that space for other stuff. So if I can omit mufflers here altogether and have just straight pipes coming from here and going out and exiting the side of the vehicle, then that's what I'll do. We put everything underneath. I don't think we filmed it when we did. We put everything underneath, and the gap between the pipe and the muffler was like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And we actually don't need to bend the pipe. It's lining up pretty close where the rubber exhaust hanger is just gonna have a slight twist to it, but it's not significant enough to have to worry about it. So we found a sleeve a pipe that'll help us neck down to the right side. Okay, it's Saturday now, so I didn't get much done while the camera was charging. I drove down to Canadian Tire, not a sponsor, and I bought piping, fittings, adapters, everything, and paint everything I think I'll need to finish this project. The only thing I did off camera is set up this primitive exhaust hanger. So now I've got it level. I've got it where it's sitting right. The muffler does not interfere with the drive shaft. This pipe over here doesn't interfere with where the lower control arm mounts to the rear subframe. Before there's a bit of rubbing. So we got it set perfectly in basically the OEM position. So now it's just a matter of coming up with something here and something here to get it to exit. I'm gonna start with this side because it's shorter and I think it's easier. I pretty much have an idea for it already. So I'm gonna get after it. I feel like I'm missing something. No, I'm not. That'll work. I got this one set up. Comes out here, elbow, smaller elbow, exhaust tip. That's like right where I want it. On this side, it'll look something like this. I have to shorten this pipe, obviously. Shorten it like that. I forgot that I have a YouTube channel, and I stopped filming. So I got everything tacked in place. Or I'm gonna finish these welds, and then we put it back on for hopefully the last time. Yeah, these are terrible welds. So that's probably like one of the best ones. That one's not half bad. Yeah. So I still have a lot to go to learn on, but I learned something, I think. So I'm gonna put it back on. Actually, before I put it on, I'm gonna paint it. I got some high heat paint, which I'm gonna spray paint on, and then that'll just help keep the rust down, and it'll hide the terrible welds just a bit in case MTO is under my car looking for my muffler. Okay, multiple hours have passed. I don't even remember the last thing that I told you guys or that I filmed. Anyways, it's painted, welding's done, it's mounted up. I didn't build any new hangers for it. It seems to be holding pretty well. So there are some air leaks. It isn't perfect. I knew that. I think I knew that going into this, that I wasn't gonna get it perfect. But the whole point of this was, the sound quality was the second objective. The main goal was to free up this space here and this space here for future projects that I've got coming up. So anyways, I will stop talking now. I'll let you guys hear what it sounds like. Good enough.